comment or two on the text line here. Chris the Mom weighing in. Jay says, dang, I'm sorry to hear what happened with Lawrence Butler. He's one of my favorite players. I've been a fan since Campy Campaneris. I'm sad they're no longer in Oakland. Chris the Mom, I know this got some play nationally. I don't think it's as bad as it sounds. And, we've all, if you've been a fan for long, you've seen sometimes where a player is unhappy and you can see through their body language, they're not giving their best effort because they're expressing some sort of dissatisfaction with something. Lawrence Butler, to my eye, he was just frustrated that he popped out. He was really angry that he made an out. And then he should have jogged to first, and I'm sure he will next time. But to me, it wasn't a matter of him like, oh, I don't like this place, and I don't like this team. No, he was frustrated. He started to go back to the dugout thinking it's a pop-up. It's going to be caught. Unfortunately, it wasn't, and he learned a lesson. But I don't think it's something that fans are going to hold against him, and I don't think it's something that Mark Kotze is really upset about other than, you can't do that, right? You understand that? Okay, we're good.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Made a mistake, we'll move on.
Right.
Nothing big, nothing less.
Yeah.
I've seen hundreds of players do it throughout my baseball career. We'll see another 100. We'll see hundreds more continue to do it. It's not a big deal. It happens. I understand. I get the rah-rah. You must hustle at all points in time guy or gal. They exist. If that's the way you want to play sports and play the game, more power to you. There, and then you have the opposite. It's like, it happens.
Yeah.
So I'm more down the middle. It just depends on the situation. Frustration can definitely take apart the mindset, especially for an athlete. And I've seen people struggle. I've seen people, get lucky and their mindset completely change. There's just so many different aspects that comes to being an athlete, especially when you're getting paid for it professionally. And as much as we, there is a shut up and dribble, shut up and run type group. Things happen, man.
Yeah.
It happens. It's not the biggest deal.
I think there's a difference between someone who's dogging it because they're unhappy and someone who made a mistake. He just made a mistake because he was going back to the dugout. And then, you could see he realized, oh, I got to run. And he ran. It wasn't like he just said, yeah, I don't care. There's a big difference.
Yeah, but there's going to be a group who says you must hustle and show sportsmanship and all that good jazz every single day and every hour, every single minute. And that's okay. Because again, that's what makes sports fantastic. That's how people choose to play, watch, and cheer for their team and or play in the sport. And that's okay. No problem. And then you're going to, like I said, vice versa. I know some people that dog it. A lot of people talk about Manny Ramirez. Didn't go hard most of the time. But Manny Ramirez is a Hall of Famer. He should be. He's a bona fide Hall of Famer. And so as they say, you can skin a cat two ways, right? So it just depends on who you're asking. David Eckstein or Manny Ramirez, to each their own. It's okay. I'm not the judge of, you know what, man, he's got to hustle at all points and times. I don't know what he's going through.
Right.
Just what you said. And so there is
but you have to run to first base.
Yeah, I don't know though, man. You get a fly ball. A pop-up. A pop-up's a pop-up, dog.
You can't go back to the dugout.
Yeah, but you don't have to break out doing 99 miles per hour too, though. So that's why I said to each their own. Guess what? People have been great in doing both. Some people will argue you must go 99, 100% at all points and times. Even if you hit a pop-up to the catcher and foul ball, run it out.
I think there's room in between, though, too.
Of course, pop-up, which is what I said.
Just don't go back to the dugout. You jog down to first, and you're going to make it. And like I said, he was horrified when he realized what happened. He assumed it was going to be caught. It wasn't a case of somebody loafing. It was a mental mistake that I don't think is going to be held against him. He was booed last night. It's the first time I think A's fans have booed a home player. I don't think it's going to be held against him.
Why you think they booed him?
Because it was a perceived lack of hustle.
So I think that's kind of what I'm saying, Whitey, is I think you're going to have two different groups, and that just what you said, I think we agree there's something in the middle. You're going to always have a group that specifies, I don't care. You better go 100% and do everything by the book, habituals, habits, and everything else. And they won't give you a break.
Right. But
and then you're going to have vice versa. And it doesn't, and this is the thing, it doesn't matter the reason why, the excuse or true of, like you said, he might have been frustrated. There's going to be a group who said, I don't care. I don't care.
Because when you're paying money, you do expect that, hey, I'm paying my money. I deserve your best effort. but I don't think that he made a mistake is what I'm saying. It wasn't that he was like, I don't care. It's like he hit the pop up. Oh man, I popped up. Uh-oh, he dropped it. I should have been running. I think he realizes the mistake, which is a lot different than a player who's got problems with management or got issues with ownership. He's like, yeah, I don't have to run here. This wasn't like that at all. You know, there's veterans. You mentioned Manny Ramirez. You'll see veteran players now, certain situations, especially over 162. There's some guys that play every day, and you'll see them that'll ground ball to second. They're not going to run hard.
No.
And it's not boo. It's like, okay, that's smart. Because you're not going to hurt yourself, and you're probably going to make it out.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
And that's why I say, again, I think we agree. There is a middle to this situation. And, you know, sometimes you have to rest your body. Sometimes you have to know when to ease off the gas just a bit. Sometimes you got to know when to, as they say, cut the corners, right? Unfortunately, people don't see it that way all the time is what I'm saying. And so with what you're talking about when it comes to Lawrence Butler, we don't know. And this was just brought to my attention. So soon as we have a break, I'm going to go here and take a look and see exactly what he said post game. Cause I'm pretty sure people have asked the question. They probably asked Coach Kase, Manager Kase. So I'd like to hear the situation. I'd like to know his reasoning, but again, I've been it. I've lived it. I've seen it, as I know you have. There's always going to be a percentage of people that they won't give a damn what he says.
It's also possible, Jay, as I'm running it back in my mind, it's also possible that he thought it was a foul ball.
Ooh.
Because it was right by home plate.
It was right there.
I don't know. But, you know, if you hit a foul pop-up, you're not going to run and drift it back. So, anyway.
You're definitely.
But it was a tremendous win. And I think he also contributed to either the tying rally or the winning rally. So, I don't think there's going to be any issues going forward. And
no kickback.
Really important to the A's going forward. He's not having a great year, but if they're going to get anywhere near where they hope to get next year or the year after that or the year after that, he's got to be a big part of it.
Yeah,
he's incredibly talented.
You know, one of the things I've had the opportunity, just like yourself, to talk to many athletes. I think one of the toughest things that I've ever heard from athletes talk about is this: when you get your bag, when you get paid, you want to make sure, especially solid, good, you know, people, individuals, athletes who really care about their team, their sport, and the way they play, their reputation. They start to press when things don't go as usual, and you know, that check is getting a little bit bigger. It's gotten a little bit bigger, and so now people are thinking, you know, highly of me, and they want to see results, and I'm not giving them my usual results. You start to see players press a little bit, and you know, it sounds like that's what Lawrence Butler is going through. I'll be completely honest. I watch the A's games, but I ain't put in my mind to look specifically at Lawrence Butler. I mean, the A's are at the bottom of the barrel.
He recently expressed some frustration over the umpires.
Really?
So he's frustrated. Yeah. And he's I think part of adjusting to a new ballpark. I think that's probably to a degree affected all of them. Can't say that for sure, but I think one of the reasons they're playing better is
situation, huh?
They're just, as a team, they're starting to get adjusted to, all right, this is where we are.
Yeah.
For better, for worse, every night, this is where we are. All right, cool. Let's go. You know,
the rigmarole is done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Maybe you might be on to something. We'll see. You know, this team is exciting. That's the word I'm going to continuously use. It's exciting. I'll be completely honest. I don't see a lot of A+ talent. I see a lot of B+ talent. Can a B+ team win a championship?
I don't know, but I think I view Soderstrom and Langoliers and Wilson. I think they have a chance to be better than B+.
Yeah,
don't know
right now. Yeah, right now, I would agree that I think Wilson has an opportunity to be fantastic because he is a contact hitter. And you don't really see that in baseball too much. I can't remember who I was just talking to this past weekend. Former player, something. I can't remember. I was at a couple events this weekend. And someone was talking about the lack of contact in baseball. Man, I'm blanking on who the baseball player was. And they were talking about the lack of contact in baseball. And, you know, we're having conversations. And I was just sitting back and just listening to a couple of the guys talk. And one of the things that caught my eye was this, and they were talking about the A's. is, and I don't know if you remember this conversation. Somebody called in and said the A's would have somebody that hits 40 home runs this year in the beginning of the season. You remember that? And I said,
I think so.
I said they'll have probably 3 or 4 who hit 30, but they won't hit 40. And I said, on top of that, they may only really have 1 or 2 who hits 30. They'll have a bunch of people who hit 25. And they're pretty close to about right where they're at. I take that back to the conversation this weekend. And they were talking about the A's. Can hitting, because what we figured out, at least in history, is you can win with 1 or 2 arms in the playoffs. Josh Beckett, Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling with the Diamondbacks. We've seen CeCe double back for the Yankees a couple times. So I think it's been proven that you can win a championship getting to the playoffs. When you're in the playoffs with 1 or 2 arms. Do you remember a time where a team had no ace, or not even someone that would qualify as an ace, winning a championship?
Not off the top of my head.
Yeah. And it was interesting because I was sitting here listening to that conversation, and truly, this is the issue with the A's. As we know, they need somebody to come through the organization as an ace. Right now, when you look at their minors, when you look at, who is scheduled to be up next, and we had Keith Law, and I think that's why Keith Law is saying this, is they truly don't really have an ace locked and loaded probably for the next 3 years.
They do not. Their bullpen has, since mid-July, been really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're looking for starters. They need starters. JP Sears was one of their better starters this year.
Yeah.
They traded him to San Diego, and they just sent him down again.
Yeah, I know.
He was one of the A's better pitchers.
Isn't it interesting, though? If you really sit down and think about it, and again, I would just sit back soaking up the game.
Well, they just drafted a pitcher this year that's supposed to be really good.
If you draft a guy, we're probably good 2.5 years away.
It'll be a while,
I think, right?
But,
But so
they're
can this team be exciting and be, I guess, be led by their offense and win a championship?
You're going to have better pitching to win a championship. But to your point, even when they were struggling more this year, when the record was, now they're, they're 10 under 500.
62, 72.
They've been playing better. Yeah. But I remember we had Ken Korak on, and we were saying for a team with a bad record, when they're like 15 games under 500 or more, they were fun to watch. Denzel Clark and the home run, they're really an interesting team to watch.
They are, but that can only go so far as an A's fan.
Right.
I need to see some wins. I want to win a championship. This is the thing.
Before they leave here?
There you go. I was going to say before they leave California.
All right.
And if they're, according to Keith Law, if they're 2 years away, we in shambles, brother. Exciting doesn't get me pumped up. And that's where I'm having yeah, but I get it. But okay. You're a Padres fan. You've been locked in with the A's and the Giants for many, many years.
Yes.
You've seen it. You've seen it at the top. You've seen it at the bottom. You've seen it in the middle. This is what I've had a tough time with, is John Fisher has killed my love for the A's, right? No doubt about it. But I'm excited about, well, let me take a step back. That has nothing to do with the players. I don't take that out on the players.
I feel exactly the same.
And Kyle Draper has talked about that, about
100%.
booing and things like that.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the players. So now let's just talk about baseball. Let's talk about where the A's are. Exciting doesn't do anything about when it comes to championships. So for you, as we say, fan how you want to fan, that's spectacular. But as an A's fan who hasn't seen the championship since 1989, exciting doesn't get me pumped. I want to see some wins. So help me out. Talk to me as an A's fan, Whitey.
The excitement.
Why should I be excited for my A's, knowing that, they might be living, but I want to see a championship?
They remind me in some ways, and I didn't know what was going on then really, so it's a rough comparison. But when the A's first came to Oakland, they had some really good young players that were like, hey, this guy might be good. He's, really raw now. I'm talking like Reggie Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
They were exciting. And I think the first year when they were in Oakland, I think they were about a 500 team. But there is a lot of players here with a lot of promise. And when they do exciting things, it shows the promise. And Nick Kurtz has been playing out of his mind. And Wilson, before he got hurt, was playing out of his mind. So, yeah, they got a ways to go. But the foundation with some of these young players, it looks like they could be young studs. So I think that's very encouraging. There's a long ways to go. And like you said, if you don't come through with the pitching, good luck. You're going to end up frustrated in the end. But that's to me, I think, very encouraging. When you can look around the diamond, you compare him to the Giants and some of the struggles the Giants are having. You're like, wow, he got a good catcher. He's got a really good catcher, really good first baseman. Shortstop looks like, man, he could be a really good player. Center fielder, left fielder, those all look like they could be outstanding players. They've shown symptoms already and signs that they're outstanding players. There are a number of promising players in addition to them. That's very encouraging for the organization. I don't know where they're going to end up as far as where they play, but they're going to be knocking at the top of the division within 2 years easy if they get any kind of pitching.
All right.
Any kind of pitching.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.